Good morning from Los Angeles. It's Alyssa Corman, Ken Shreve here with your market update. And on this Tuesday, we're taking a look at JP Morgan, Atlassian, and Netflix. So a great lineup today. But first, let's take a look at the major indexes. We're seeing strong gains for the NASDAQ, up about 1%. Across the board, we're off highs. The S&P 500 up about 0.5%, and the Dow up about 0.2%. So the NASDAQ very well could retake that 50-day line today. Yeah,
let's hope so. Good strong start for the NASDAQ in the early going. The Dow and the S&P 500 lagging a little bit, but here's a look at a daily chart for the NASDAQ, and you can see, boy, that red line, that 50-day moving average, it's still a ceiling for the index, but nice percentage gain for the NASDAQ so far in the early going. Got a lot of stocks in the headlines. We'll talk about Netflix in a bit, but good start for the NASDAQ.
That's right, and we want to take a look at JP Morgan after it issued its quarterly earnings report. The stock down about 1.4% in heavy volume, but still holding up reasonably well despite an earnings miss. Analysts were expecting earnings to come in at $2.20 a share, came in at $1.98. Fixed income revenue falling 16%, similar to what we saw from Citigroup. So down today, but what's your picture for the bank stocks so far with earnings season getting underway?
Well, I mean, very impressive performance from Citigroup yesterday. Yes. A lot of the financial stocks reversed higher, so that was good to see. Many financials trying to make a case for a bottom here. Like you said, JP Morgan, investors seem to key on that earnings miss and a little bit light on fixed income revenue, but this is a stock that has rallied nicely off lows. It was firmly down 3% in pre-market trading, and it is up near its session high. Still kind of a broken stock technically here, below the 50-day moving average, below the 200-day line. Still some uncertainty about interest rates, and of course that big plunge in the 10-year Treasury yield not helping the bank's net interest margin much. But stock has rallied off lows, and it's a busy week of financial earnings. We've got Bank of America and Goldman Sachs tomorrow morning, so we'll get a pretty good handle on how the financials are looking by the end of the week.
That we will. And now we want to take a look at Atlassian, which has been a frequent member of many of our growth screens, reversing higher today despite a downgrade from Morgan Stanley to equal weight from overweight, and it looks like it's just at the tippy top of a buy range here. Yeah,
so we have earnings from Atlassian due Thursday after the close. It's been an outstanding performer. It's actually a recent breakout that has worked pretty well. It recently broke out over an 89.92 cup with handle buy point. This is a sort of enterprise software firm, one of many that are continuing to act well. So stock was down about 3% in pre-market trading on the Goldman Sachs downgrade, but it has
Morgan Stanley.
Morgan Stanley, and it has reversed impressively higher, so pretty solid showing so far for Atlassian.
Well, speaking of Goldman Sachs, we got bullish commentary on Netflix, but also the big news here that Netflix is raising its prices. So the most popular plan will be $13 a month, up from $11 a month, and of course this comes as Netflix continues its dominance, or I guess its share of dominance, with original content.
Yeah, so amid this news of a price increase today, we did have a note out from Goldman Sachs that they reiterated a buy rating and a $400 price target, saying that this earnings report could be pretty darn good. So you can see the tremendous move that Netflix has made in recent days. A bullish gap up today, so clearly there's a lot of optimism that this company could deliver a strong quarter late Thursday. We'll see, but Netflix by far the best performing FANG stock today by a wide margin.
And even though it doesn't really have a clear buy point here, very impressive to see it come so far off of its recent lows. I mean, it's up like 40–50% in such a short time. That's really impressive.
Yeah, and you can see that some of the recent gains have come in expanding volumes. Whether or not that's a little short covering, or maybe some institutions getting into the stock ahead of earnings remains to be seen. But some good volume behind the up days. Bullish gap up for the stock today. So we'll see what the numbers look like Thursday after the close.
That's right. We will keep an eye out for that on Thursday, most definitely. But in the meantime, be sure you're heading to investor investors.com throughout the trading session and after the close for all the latest market news and analysis. And you can also catch our content across social media, so make sure you're checking out Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. And one note on YouTube, Ken and I will be hosting an AMA on the 23rd right after the morning show, so make sure ahead of that Q&A session you are subscribed to notifications on YouTube and you can join in the conversation. Ask us your questions about the market, stocks on your watch list. It'll be really fun.
I think investors have a lot of questions these days.
All right, be sure to check that out, everyone, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.